Hello, this is Stephen Adams with the Yellowstone Divide Trail System and Atomic City Trails. I uh, I posted a video a couple of days ago about a kind and gentle little letter I got from the BLM, which was nothing close to being kind or gentle. I tried to show some humor and take it best I could. Um, I have met with them and I wanted to give you an update. I met over the phone on my ride back from Boise. Some good things happened, some that I will label interesting. A couple things. First, I'm trying different ways to do these videos, and I'm not professional at it by any stretch. So trying some different things, throw me ideas if you have them. I want to do this more often. I think it's a good way to get information out and to maybe just keep you up to speed on things. I also want to kind of video some of the things we do out there at the property. So trying to become competent. All right. So the talk with the BLM. They started the call and they were very I want to say conciliatory, but it wasn't that. They did not apologize. They were friendly and professional. And they actually started by saying they could understand that I would have a different interpretation of what I put on the website. That was a good way to start the conversation because I was not happy. I had intended to and did talk to them about my own review of the website after reading their letter and understanding that according to their rules and their interpretation of the law, I could see why they would have concerns. And we reached a fairly good common ground on that. I let them know, as I had via a previous email, that I had gone through and edited the website. Sometimes during meetings, especially the political ones in Boise, there's time for such things. And I edited a lot of the website and realized I made some mistakes from their perspective, right? I had created these pages for each of these areas of the desert rides. And I did that before we had the events. And then when I decided to do events, I thought, wow, I've already got these pages where I describe these areas of the desert. I'm just going to link to them and put event registration up at the top. And I described the event on another page. And then you register on a page talking about how to ride these trails. I can see that concern from according to their structure. So we talked through it. It was a good conversation. They said, based on their rereading, even of the old language, that they could see that we had different interpretations and that was okay. They are happy to work with me moving forward. We decided we're going to meet in person. There are two events that are problematic for them. It's the Scoot and Shoot and the atomic, what did I call it? The atom hunt. Those were events where you would go out onto the trails, do things, take pictures of certain things, and then bring them back. And it's all kind of one big event. That has some problems with the statute, the way it's written, or their rules. So we're going to talk about those and probably make some little changes or work with them on those activities and figure out a way to make it work. And they kind of manage that. So we're stuck. And I already figured out ways to do those activities without bothering them at all. So we're going to have those activities. We're going to have our activities. So I thought today I'd put on my educator hat a little bit. So if you don't know, I've been in education almost my whole life. So I also don't want to bore you to death. So I want to give you a little lesson on tyranny. Tyranny, as it used to be under our legal system defined, was exercising power that is not rightly yours, or exercising a power that you have delegated to you as a government official or a government body in an inappropriate way, overbearing, authoritatively, or with dismissal of natural rights of the people, or in violation of natural rights. Okay, tyranny. That's what tyranny is. So why do I struggle with the BLM so much? The people I've met with at the BLM, take out their stupid letter, have been really nice to talk to for the most part. It's not the people at that level that's the problem. The bigger problem, where tyranny comes into play, is the BLM isn't even a constitutional organization. So here's the basic deal. I'm going to be pretty quick on this. People delegate rights to the government, right? The whole form of government we have in this country, why we talk about freedom, is because rights belong with the people. People have rights, not governments, not groups, people. People delegated rights to states to set up their government, right? And I can give you a 2-hour lecture on governing a free people. Read John Locke's second treatise on civil government, and you got a pretty good idea what's going on, because that's what we adopted. Now, the people delegated these rights to the states. The states decided to create a federation of states, or a federal government. And the states delegated express specific powers to the federal government. That's it. That's all they get. Read the Federalist Papers, read the Anti-Federalist Papers. They both agree on that. Now, you read the Constitution, it's pretty clear. So you have enumerated specific powers delegated from the states to the federal government. They didn't delegate the authority to own 2/3 of Idaho and have the BLM manage our lands. It's not in there. Now, how did it come to pass? It is what it is. I'm not going to fight it. Like I said, I'm not picking a fight with a grizzly bear, but I'm also going to say what I want to say about it. And maybe we can fix it someday. So here's the real problem. You have a federal government from Washington, D.C. managing our state resources. I'll invite any of you, leave comments, to explain to me where in the Constitution they have that authority. There are very specific reasons why the federal government can even own property. And then there are very specific things they're allowed to do as powers and authority of the federal government. None of them are in play here. Now, so I struggle to begin with to have a conversation with the BLM. I don't care how nice they are. Tyranny wears many faces. But I want to tell you about this letter. This letter was not nice, it was not professional, and it was not appropriate. So someone with the BLM has a concern that I might have gone too far. I might have violated one of their unconstitutional rules. Okay, let's talk. Pick up the phone. They had my information. I left it with them when I called them earlier, and they referenced it in their letter. All they had to do was call me. Say, hey, Steve, we got an issue. We need to talk. All right. Hey, thanks for calling. I wanted to keep a good relationship with them, because they're going to come out and start closing trails in that area too. And you know, they describe it much differently, like cataloging and stuff like that. But granted, there are going to be trail closures as they do these processes, and we'll work through it, because if we don't, we lose more trails. Okay. So I want to keep some semblance of a relationship, but I also want to speak my piece. So all they had to do was call me and say, hey, we want to talk. Now, am I going to agree with them? Maybe not, but I can have a professional conversation. What do they do instead? They send me this letter that says, first, I may have violated the law. And then they say, this thing that you did violates the law. And then down below it, I'll read this part to you. At this time, you must cease and desist your efforts to conduct any non-permitted events on BLM managed lands, which they already told me I was doing, and I'm not. I wasn't ever. Operating on public lands without a permit is a serious matter which may result in administrative and/or criminal actions. You want to know what that is? That's a threat of federal prosecution. When I met with them, I said, look, I have tried to respond to this in the kindest, gentlest way I know how. What you did, from my perspective, is a declaration of war. You want to know about war? Do you want to know what a state of war is? A state of war is when one person or a group violate your natural rights, meaning they were rights that are inherently in you. We also refer to them as inalienable or unalienable rights. Those rights are mine. They are mine by virtue of being alive. They were either given to me by nature or nature's God, and they're mine. You violate those rights, you try to take them away from me, and now between us exists a state of war. That's where state of war, declaration of war, when you get to nation states, that's the heart of it. Okay? You tell me that if I talk to my friends and people I'm trying to gather together to share experiences on these trails, that somehow that's illegal, and that you're going to prosecute me in federal court, that's a declaration of war. I think I responded fairly well, fairly measured. Okay. So put aside the letter. That's where we're at. We're dealing with an interesting form of tyranny that we need to navigate. Okay. And I don't have a fight to pick with the ladies I spoke with on the phone. They were very, well, for the most part, they were very professional. I don't know why it is, but at the end of the call, one of them had to ask a really dumb question that I already answered a couple of times, and it set me off. And I paused and I tried to be professional, but ignorance and condescension should be pointed out, in my opinion. As a public official, you have a responsibility to treat people with respect. And that was absent in those portions of the call. All right. So here's the bottom line, folks. They're fine with what we're doing. They've reviewed the website and they're good with it. We need to talk through those two activities. I'll probably just make some changes because I don't want to deal with them. They're gonna be fun. I wanted you to know I engaged, and I'm trying. There's a part of me that wants to be a civil human being. It's hard sometimes because I also believe in stuff. I believe in freedom. Spent 9 years in the Marine Corps. I love that stuff. I love my country. I love the concept of freedom and what it does for people, how it elevates them. It elevates their society. It elevates their government. And then we have to look around and see all the corrupt nimrods that are running our government right now. And I have to deal with their lackeys and some moron in DC who wrote me a letter threatening to prosecute me in federal court. That's nonsense, folks. All I want to do is have some fun on the desert, build a great image of Atomic City, and have a little RV park. The American dream, right? A retirement crusade. And I'm threatened with federal prosecution. Now, if I buy into their regulations, I made some minor errors in how I describe things. I'm going to change them because I don't want to fight with the BLM. It's just not my time in life to do that. That time might come. Right now, I just want to go out and ride the trails and have some fun and help people understand the cool stuff that's out there. That is a fun place to be. And I want it to be fun for my family. That's why we bought the property. Is we're getting close to retirement. We wanted a place to go play with the family, and we're looking around, talking with my wife, and we're like, why can't other people enjoy this too when we're not here? We're just going to sit here all the time. And so we built this thing, and it's just getting started, folks, just getting started. And we thoroughly appreciate the support. And regardless of the tone of this message, these events are fun. That's the whole point. So anyway, wanted to give you an update. We're good. They're not coming out to take me away in the padded wagon. I did invite them, and they said they might come sometime. And for the most part, that was a professional call. People just trying to do their job. Most people do not understand our system of government. They don't understand that they're participating in just maybe a very soft tyranny. I don't think it's that soft. That letter was not soft, but they're trying to do their job, and they seem like good people. I wish they would educate themselves a little bit more, but then they'd quit, and then nobody'd be working for the BLM except a bunch of morons, and they would be prosecuting me in federal court. So to that extent, I appreciate them working with me and trying to make this a solution that can work for everybody. And we're going to have some fun tomorrow. So I hope you come out. If you don't make it tomorrow, we've got other events coming up. We're going to talk about all those different areas of the desert out there and how to enjoy them. And we're going to give you a good time there in Atomic City. So hope to see you there. Thanks a lot.